The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am Dixie Sitlow, the Director of Outreach for the Dibble Institute, and today's topic is the Dibble Institute, a resource for guiding youth to successful relationships. This is the first of our free second Wednesday webinars. There was a slight change in next month, and so next month we'll be having Camp on Me Love, How to Be Rich in Life and Love, and our guest speaker is Sybil Solomon. This is just in time for Valentine's Day, one of our favorite holidays here at the Dibble Institute. Before we get into our webinar today, I'd like to take you through some housekeeping. So you'll notice on your screen a bunch of information. First of all, if you have any technical questions, you can call Kathy at the number on your screen, 910-471-4742. Kathy Guidry is our organizer today. Second of all of our attendees are muted, so if you have any questions, please type them into the question box on your control panel. Hopefully everyone sees their control panel, and there is a questions area there. You click on there and you'll be able to type in. Also, if you have questions about anything that we talk about today, those can be typed in. We'd like you to hold some of your main questions until the end. We're going to have a Q&A time, and we will look forward to answering those for you. Also during the webinar today, we'll be polling the audience and asking you separately to raise your hands. Those are two different things. When a poll comes up, we'll ask you to click on the information that applies to you, and then that'll show up on the screen. But when we ask you to raise your hand, you're going to go back to that control panel. You'll see a little hand at the top right underneath the blue box, and that's what you'll click on in order to raise your hand, and then we'll be able to determine how the answers are from there. As I said, we'll be having a Q&A for the last 10-15 minutes of our webinar today. We have a short 60-minute webinar today, and it's being recorded and will be available for you or those of you who didn't get a chance to be here within the next 3 business days. You'll just go back to our website on the webinar page, and it'll be there for you. My co-presenter today is Irene Varley, and she is the Director of Education and has been with the Dibble Institute for 9 years. And Dibble, or Irene, would you please share the Dibble story with us?
Hi everyone, so glad to be with you today. I'd love to share the Dibble story. This is one question that comes up so often: was there really a Charlie Dibble? Well, I'd like to take you back first to tell you who is the Dibble Institute. And many of you may already know we're a secular, national, nonprofit organization dedicated to equipping young people with the skills and knowledge they need to develop healthy romantic relationships now and in their future. Well, who is Charlie Dibble, the founder of our institute? Charlie was an aeronautical engineer who in his retirement years was dedicated to working with young people. In doing so, he became well aware of the emotional challenges to their long-term well-being and their future self-fulfillment. This became most evident when in the late 80s at his grandniece's wedding, he heard her proclaim, "Oh, Uncle Charlie, this is just my first wedding." Well, it happened to be a time when the national divorce rate was reaching its peak, and this very much concerned Charlie. He had heard the painful stories following the breakup of the families from the youth he worked with. To make a long story short, Charlie quickly realized little was being done to address the development of skills needed to form successful marriage or committed relationships. Charlie was really concerned with the decreasing models of healthy relationships teens had to emulate. So in 1996, Charlie, with the cooperation of fellow business colleagues, educators, and friends, founded the Dibble Fund, now known as the Dibble Institute. Charlie's vision was to have accurate, unbiased, and timely research information available for you. We pride ourselves in remaining true to Charlie's vision today. And as we travel around the country, we hear from you and many like you about your work with youth, how you prepare them to be successful with their families, jobs, and communities. And we hear about the many, many challenges that teens are facing. Hey, Dixie, what challenges have you heard about?
Well, we know that teens face challenges. And first, I want to ask all of you that are listening today what you think some of the challenges are that teens face, and consider the things that we're going to present. If there's anything else, feel free to send those answers in your question box. But Irene and Kathy, what do you think some of the challenges are?
Well, Dixie, you know, I've talked to a lot of parents in the community and actually people that call in asking about our services here at Dibble. And it seems like teens are being asked to work and go to school. They're having to succumb to a lot of the economic pressures their parents are actually, you know, feeling right now. So that would be one that I hear a lot of.
Mm-hmm. Definitely home environment is one. And I would have to say peer behavior is another one that challenges them. There's a lot of confusion as what exactly, especially in relationships, what is healthy and what isn't healthy. And then, gosh, just thinking when I was a teen, the physical and psychological changes that occur in growing up.
And then I would also add the technological changes that are taking place today. There are so many changes, and then that all has become part of relationship challenges that they deal with. Cell phones, Facebook, emails, on, and how to navigate that, be safe, and be smart about those sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely. Did we get any responses from our listeners, Kathy?
Yes, they're saying that in the schools there's also a lot of technological changes and developments, you know, with computers and then with cell phones, and that's always a challenge to the learning process and to what teens know to be right and wrong.
Well, and I think we all realize, and just by their presence today, that our listeners realize that these challenges have a great influence on a teen's love life. And we know that a teen's love life is never neutral while maneuvering through adolescence to successful adulthood. Many of you have seen the consequences of poor romantic choices. Futures can get derailed.
You know, Irene, I'm sorry, someone has said here that teens really have a lack of relationship models to follow, which would come right into play with what you're saying, and also not enough family time.
Absolutely. Gosh, it's like we're going to talk about how teens almost, by educating teens, we're really educating families as well. And the Dibble Institute offers a lot of research-based tools to help you help them. And today's objectives, we hope to walk you through how the Dibble Institute exists to be a resource for you and to answer your questions, address your needs, and learn from you as well.
And before we begin today, just let me tell you who's in our audience so you kind of have an idea of who else is on the webinar with you. We have members from pregnancy prevention, health education, youth programs, marriage, college, social workers, and family and consumer sciences educators. So we have a nice variety of participants today. And to further define our audience, I'm going to ask you we're going to be putting up a poll here, and I'm going to ask you to select one or more of the phrases that describes you. So are you a person who has taught or used Dibble Institute programs? Is Dibble completely new to you? And do you need information on funding sources? So check one or more of those boxes, and then the poll is going to come up for us so we can kind of see what our audience has found.
We're going to give them a few more minutes, a few more seconds. I'm sorry, Dixie.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Well, we have quite a diversity here, so it'll be interesting to see what they say.
Okay, it looks like most everyone has voted here, and it actually looks like a large percentage of you all are completely new to the Dibble Institute, and a few of you all within the ones that voted have used or taught Dibble programs before. And then, of course, there's always a need for funding sources.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there really? For sure.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Thank you so much for that information, and hopefully we can help you to get a better understanding of Dibble this afternoon. Success to us is helping you meet your goals. As a nonprofit institute, we promote relationship training for teens and young adults, especially in the context of dating and romantic connections. That's what sets us apart. Our program materials are used nationwide in multiple settings, much like the ones represented here today. And we realize from what we hear at events, there are many who do not know what all we offer as an institute. So today we're going to introduce, and in some cases here maybe reintroduce you to the Dibble website. Similar to many organizations, our website is a key communication tool we use to inform you. It is our way to offer you access to resources that can enhance your work with youth.
Well, there is a lot of information on our website, so we're going to be dividing our presentation into 3 parts. We're going to address your professional development needs, such as research, programs, how to choose those programs, other resources and evaluations that might be helpful to you, the needs of your students, and the needs of your parents. So you should see on your screen now the home page for the Dibble Institute website. And Irene, would you just give us a little overview of this page, please?
Sure. As you see in this home page, and maybe if you've already visited, there is a lot of information here. So let's look at it. In the very top toolbar here, almost everything that we're going to say and point out to you in the pages as we go in depth into the website is also accessed through this toolbar. And just briefly, of course, we have home and about us, and even Charlie's story and his vision, and the awards that our achievements and accomplishments are there. A good place for if you're looking for some rationale to use to promote a program, or that there is substance here, you'll find that here in the toolbar. And of course, there's all our programs, the bookstore. Why it matters is another very important site, because the benefits of relationship education, evaluations of our programs, and success stories. And we always invite you to share your success stories. Makes us feel good, but it also can help others, give them ideas of what can work in their program. Then we have services, which are some of the different things that we'll be going over a little later. Dibble in the news and events that we're going to be, and then a copy of our newsletter. place for you to donate, and then contact information. So that's up there in that toolbar. But the first thing is you see we have current information. And this information is going to change month to month. So it might look different every time you log into our site. As an example, we will have current research. If you're looking for research, and I noted some of you were, there will always be most recent research. And as you can see here, we have something on teen dating violence. And then news of our webinar. And then some news that impacts Dibble, that we were named as top performing nonprofit, part of 100 top performing nonprofits in the country. And then also that one of our curriculum was noted on a particular program as being evaluated for pregnancy prevention, teen dating information, evidence-based. So there's a lot of information here. And as we progress, we will also have places to search for program information that you need and free resources. So I'd like to find out from you, and this is going to be, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand, how many of you really need current research? That's one question we didn't ask in that poll. If you would just raise your hand if you think current research is something that really interests you.
Looks like we have quite a few. Bobby and Chantel and Chris, Cody, gosh, Deborah, Gary and Henry. There's so many here that just are really looking for answers to that. Jan and Jeannie. Thank you for raising your hand.
Thanks so much, Kathy. And we really pride ourselves in providing for you research and also of implementing that research into our programs. Dixie, can you kind of point out some places that our viewers can find research on our website besides the ones that I pointed out on the front page?
Absolutely. There are several places. First of all, let me take you to the right-hand side of the page here. You'll see where it says Read Our Newsletter. I'm going to click on there and take us to December's newsletter, which there's always the current one on this front page here. And I'll show you in a minute where you can find any of the archived newsletters that always have research in them on a variety of topics. And then I also want to encourage you, right here it says join the email list, where you can sign up. It's free and your information is secure with us. It doesn't go anywhere, so that you always receive the latest and greatest e-newsletter from us. But our newsletter is divided up, every month with a few different things. First of all, as we've already stated and we'll state many times, current research on various sources relating to teens, their relationships, and the hot issues that they're experiencing. Then information on our programs and supplements and stories of success that come from people like you. When you have a story of success on healthy teen romantic relationship education, we would really love to hear that and be able to share that as well. And then current funding streams you'll see here. We always get information for both government and foundational funding streams, and we like to feature that because we know that that's one of the concerns people have is, well, this all sounds great, but I don't have the money to implement that right now. So how can we help you to do that? If we go back to our home page here, you'll find our archives up here under News. Right here, if you clicked on Newsletter, if I clicked on Newsletter, it would take you to all the archives for the last several years. And there's research in every one of those on a variety of topics, always useful for you. Another place that you're going to find research information is going to our Facebook page. Up here is our icon. You can like us on Facebook, Dibble Institute, And we repost some things, but also post some things that we don't have in our newsletter on Facebook. And then thirdly, a location for some of our evidence-based research findings are found on the individual program pages. Well, right here we have a program. I'm going to click on here, take you to this page, hopefully. And what you're going to see here is evaluation information. We're going to talk about these correlations over here, overviews, and as you go through here, you will find that why Relationship Smarts Plus, and this would be true about any of the programs that you clicked on, why they're evidence-based and what's going on with them. This particular program, Relationship Smarts Plus evaluation, were taken over the last 5 years through a study at Auburn University and the Federal Department of Health and Human Resources. And they found that it lowered the incidence of aggressive language and behavior following taking this course. So those types of information can be helpful to you. Another place that you would look is up here under the Why It Matters. It would be another place to find resources and research resources for you. Several of you, what was it, what did they say, Kathy, thinking of the percentage of people who were looking for research and that it was important for them?
Yeah, I think there was about 38% out of the 89% that voted.
Great, great. So research can be used in a variety of ways for presentations to stakeholders who would like to support or continuing or new funding of the program that you're using, for presentations to parents to introduce the start of a new program or a course. If you're writing a grant proposal, you need research as to why you're doing this. And then sometimes for your students also, to emphasize the importance of a topic. Irene, how do they decide what program that they want to use?
Well, actually, that is probably the majority of calls that I receive. The question is how to decide what course is best for me. And here at Dibble, we want you to use a course and be happy and satisfied with that course, especially if you are in a program that has very direct outcomes. We want to be sure that you are choosing the right one. So, in fact, there was a call that I had just a few weeks ago. Well, it was actually at the beginning of the school year. Seems like a few weeks ago, but I guess it's been a few months already now. But this teacher was in a new school, and she had taught relationship education in the past, but now she's having to teach it again. And she had some money, and so she wanted to enhance what tools she had sitting there. And as we talked, she just, all of a sudden the light went on. She actually had Relationship Smart sitting on her shelf and just completely forgot about it. And so all she needed were really workbooks to go along with that. But it was just talking with her and, you know, just talking about relationship education and our programs, and even kind of leading her through the website, that she came to realize, oh yeah, I do have that. Not so bad. So her money was spent on workbooks. I'm curious, do any of you have Dibble programs, especially those who have taught in the past Dibble programs, but maybe put them aside and forgot about them, or maybe you inherited a program from a former teacher or program coordinator? Raise your hand if this describes you. Anyone out there?
Irene, I was also just at a conference recently and found that this was a grantee conference, that some of the grantees had, in a sense, as you said, inherited programs from a previous grant, didn't know about it were looking for, how do I use this, where do I use this, all of that. So contacting us is one of the ways that they were able to say, what do I need to learn about this and implement it.
Irene, it looks like I'm sorry, Irene, it looks like there are a few people that that do have programs sitting on their shelves, but I think this is probably an appropriate time to ask this question that someone from the audience has asked. Which resources would you recommend or would be appropriate for college-age students?
Yeah. Well, that's, that's a field that Dibble is really looking into, expand into very directly. But for right now, I'm thinking my preference would be Relationship Smarts Plus or Love Notes. And but, there's also, gosh, things to know before you say go. I love that program. What do you think, Dixie? I think that would work well with college age.
Yeah, I really like the Love Notes for College. It's something I recommend often. And then there's two other programs that can lead to some really great discussion and learning some good relationship skills, and that's What's Real, which is based on a poster series but has a great little binder that goes with it to kind of lead through discussion and research. And then also Connections, Relationship, and Marriage. I think that, even though they might not be thinking about marriage, they're thinking about relationships and, where do they want to go with it and how do they navigate that in a healthy, safe way.
Well, I'd like to kind of direct this. This is the kind of process anyone looking for a program needs to go through, because there are a lot of elements to decide on. First of all, the venue in which you are presenting your program. If it's in the classroom, the curriculum, of course, is laid out and designed for classroom uses. However, can be adapted to small group formation and discussion groups as well. Then also your style. There's some that are very high activity based. The Love You Too by Marlene Pearson are very high activity based. And the things to know before you say go are very small resources that can be used multiple times in different ways. There's an activity book that accompanies them. And then we have CDs, DVDs, and so there's a lot of things to consider. Here's my biggest suggestion. What we offer, and I'm going to take you back again to that Relationship Smarts, because whether you're a health teacher, a family and consumer science teacher, a social worker, youth group leader, however, this program is adaptable and has, as all our programs do, they have free downloadable sample lessons. And in those sample lessons, you can see and get a sense of, does this fit your style of teaching? Would it work in the venue in which you want to implement your program? It's an excellent way to compare, and you don't have to buy anything. And another thing I want to remind you, we guarantee satisfaction. If you purchase, let's say, Relationship Smarts Plus, but what you realize is that Love Notes would probably be the better one for you once you get the whole curriculum in front of you, you can call us, return it, given that it's in pristine condition that we can resell it. We will accept it, and then you can receive Love Notes instead. We always list all our curriculum, and I'd like to go back to that home page because here's a tool for you that's really helpful. And that is, go back here, on our front page, Shop By, right over here on the far right-hand side. If you have a special age group that you're working with, or you're familiar with one of our authors and her style fits your style, or by source, and by source I mean, is it a Dibble Institute program? I'm going to click on that so it gives you an idea of what we mean by source. See, here's shop by, and here's all the different categories. These are the National Marriage Project. So if you are in marriage education, you want to have your audience get an understanding of the benefits of marriage and what's the difference between cohabitation and marriage. Does it really matter? Prevent teen and unplanned pregnancy. That's another source. And then we have University of Chicago, Auburn University, Prepare Enrich. Some of you may be familiar with that program. And we have a student teen version of Prepare Enrich, which is Prepare Enrich Inspire. That's one of our newest curriculum as well. So we have, you can shop by category, or, and you look back again, you can shop by format. Is it an activity? Is it a CD, a DVD, or by theme? Let's look at themes that you have choices for. Are you in pregnancy prevention, fatherhood issues, financial literacy, or just general relationship skills? So these are different ways to narrow down your search. But my greatest, most often, my most frequent advice would be look at the sample lessons. And those sample lessons, once you download them, print them out, you know, you can even share them with faculty, staff, administration, your executive directors, whoever, and if you have to put it before a board decision. So that helps tremendously. And one other way I want to point out to you when you're selecting, like for instance, what all, Dixie, you already mentioned about some of the evaluations over here. Love You to Real, we offer supplements to the program as well and give you a sense of what enhances that program. Maybe it helps describe it. This is a brand new on our site. But these are various. Oh, anyway, those are samples. I'll let you look at those later of videos that were created already by the Personal Involvement Center in Los Angeles. And they have enhancements to the different lessons in the Love You To series. So a lot of ways that will aid you, a lot of tools on here that will aid you for each curriculum to make that decision. And one really important one, if you have to meet specific requirements. Dixie, what do we have to help instructors meet certain requirements or find those requirements?
Well, there's a couple of different ways of doing this. Again, back here on the home page under free resources, you'll see a variety of things here. Irene's already talked about the sample lessons. There's free downloadable brochures. There's movie guides, bingo, and we'll go over some of this in a minute here. But this standards correlation right here. The standards correlation is a list of frameworks that one can look to see if that applies to you. And then from there, you can click on that standard, that framework, and then see which of our programs fall under that. So if we have Family and Consumer Sciences educators, and we click on there, we would see, and it's not doing it, we would see all the different programs that fall under Family and Consumer Sciences. And if we go down here to
the Word document.
Yeah, to health and so forth, it'll show you the different standards that are there. Now, the other way is that we can go to the individual pages. So for instance, if we go up here under our programs and we go to Healthy Choices, Healthy Relationships, click on there. It takes you to this page. Over here in the sidebar, you'll see that this program is correlated with all of these different standards: Family and Consumer Sciences, Health, and Sex Ed. And then when you click on these, it takes you lesson by lesson in the program and how that aligns with the standard itself. So if you're looking for this information, again, to write a grant or you have to abide by grant qualifications, this is a great place for you to get that information. And if you need any help, we're always happy to help you with that. Something else for your professional development that I'd like to point out is funding. And we talked about that briefly when it came to the newsletter. But up here under Services on the top bar is grants. And I'm going to click on there. And there's all kinds of information also on here on funding possibilities, news, things that you can apply for. And Dibble also can help you to write, or you can write us in those, and we can help you to do that. And then, as I pointed out just a little bit earlier, but want to go back over this, is these teaching tools under the free resources in this box over here. Irene's already talked about the sample lessons. Cannot express enough what a great resource that is for people. There are downloadable free brochures. We also sell brochures, but there are some things on here. And then there are movie guides. These are supplements. They're not curriculum. They're more of a discussion guide. And then the standards that we talked about. Then there's also a free bingo game, relationship bingo. And this useful links is something that is a great resource for many people. There's links here for teens, for teachers, and for parents, which we're going to be talking about in a moment. So you can see that there's a whole lot of different things that are available to you. If we go over here also to the services, you'll find some more free resources for you. There are tip sheets for middle school students. Also for the family, or for the FCCLA tip sheets for national programs and STAR event programs. And then we have a web page here also for the Family and Consumer Sciences professors and teachers. And we're very happy to have just made that available not that long ago. And then there's one last thing here in our personal development that we'd like to share with you. Irene, would you like to share that?
I'd love to, because I'm the one who helps coordinate this, so I love explaining it. We have created our curriculum that you as a professional can pick it up and look through it and actually implement the program. But there is no doubt that when you have your staff together or like professionals together who are interested in teaching the teens relationship skills, that this builds momentum for motivation, for implementation, and also for a common motivation to actually, let's get this going and share ideas on what works best, what you've done before that really helps the teens. And so we can do a training for you, and I'd say that a one-day training is the minimum time needed for that. But we can come to you. We are not like other organizations that go around the country with set dates and provide workshops for the day. What we do is we provide on-call customized training. And with that, we would review the entire curriculum, its philosophy and goals. go and review various lessons that are pertinent to your outcomes for your program, and then have time for teachbacks, what we call teachbacks, so that the small groups can actually apply what they've learned that day and do little mini lessons for the class. So
Hello? Did you disconnect something from the internet? Oh my God, I've messed up this whole webinar. Nothing's working on this webinar right now. Okay. No, this just might be fine.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, Web Events Made Easy. Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start